right, welcome back to the Built to Grow podcast. I'm your host, Tim Lyons, in the studio, Scottsdale, Arizona. Joined today, guys, special guest, Randy Angston. What's up, buddy?
Oh, shocker. How we doing?
You know what? I think probably we'll have some guests coming up pretty soon.
We will. We will definitely have some guests
We got our
soon.
Iron Circle boardroom next week. I'm looking forward to that. That is our working session. We've got our TikTok specialist, Maxwell Finn, coming in town to kind of teach the Iron Circle how to leverage TikTok as a new medium source, and I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that's a big one.
And it just happens to be at the same venue which we're hosting the Grow Summit.
Yes.
And so I'm excited to kind of get with them to kind of go over some logistics. If you haven't heard about the Grow Summit yet, you're going to want to go to fitprogrowsummit.com. Check out details there. We've got our speaker lineup. We got a couple surprises still in the works. It's June 8th through 11th?
10th?
Yeah.
8th, 9th, 10th. Yeah, 10th, 11th, depending on when they leave.
Right. Couple additions this year, guys. We have workouts in the morning on the pool deck, which is super cool. One of the feedback we got is, hey, can we get some workout, kind of group workouts? We built that into the agenda. So it's going to be first thing in the morning, obviously. We'll be out there before the sun comes up, kind of heating up the place, because in Arizona in June, it's going to be a little toasty. We could call this the Meltdown Growth Summit if we wanted to. So definitely want to check out tickets for that, fitprogrowsummit.com. Check it out.
Awesome. That was a nice finish.
All right.
We got a good one for you guys today.
Yeah, good episode. Today, I want to kind of pull the curtain back on something we did recently to raise some capital. Okay, So if you haven't heard, if you haven't followed us that much, Pulse Fitness is rebranding to Legacy Personal Training. We've invested $500,000 into this facility, repainting, flooring, equipment, lighting. It's a brand new facility. We were able to do it, a lot of it out of pocket, but we were able to raise some capital using what we call our Legacy Club lifetime memberships. And so we kind of teased about this in the past. It's something we were kind of toying with. Well, we launched it in August, and we had we call it State of the Union. I had all the clients come in and kind of let them know about the changes, the rebrand, and kind of what the construction schedule was. And I offered up 10 opportunities for lifetime memberships. What they get with lifetime membership is all of, unlimited personal training. They get all of our, products at cost. So it doesn't cost us anything, but it doesn't cost them any more than it would cost us. So supplements or t-shirts or, anything, foam rollers, stuff like that. They get their own parking place. They get their own locker. They get some gear and some other stuff. But the big value in this is that, they make one-time payment, and for the rest of their life, and, as long as we're open, they get to train.
Yep.
We offered this for $25,000. And so that night we had, I think, five people raised their hand. We got their information. We took a deposit. And since then, we've got another 2 more that have picked it up. So we have 3 left, but we've basically generated $150,000.
Yeah.
Is that right?
150?
7 times 25?
Yeah.
No, it'd be 175.
Yeah.
Sorry. $175,000 in capital. Now, people will be like, why would you do that? Why would you do a lifetime membership? And why would somebody buy that? Well, at least at our price points, $5,000 and change per year, plus kind of the perks, this membership kind of breaks even in about 4 years and 10 months just on the service alone, just on
training.
Yeah. Just on the training alone. And so I basically, ask people, hey, how long have you been here? 7 years, 10 years, 5 years, 4 years. And so, if they're going to be in the area for a long time, this makes a lot of sense. Because after about 4 years and 10 months, they end up getting basically for free. Now, 2 big things that made this really exciting for the people, and the reason why I feel like, why they sold.
Correct.
Number one, it was transferable. And so for a $5,000 fee, they can sell this or resell it to a friend or a family member, or they can gift it to their son or daughters. and kind of create legacy, right? And that was kind of part of the pitch was like, hey, our name is legacy. You're going to be able to pass legacy down to your family. And, there is a fee. There's a $5,000 fee for the transfer, but, then the next person would take that over and then we'll train them for free. The other thing, and probably a bigger reason why it sold, was that we were going to put a spotlight of their business, if they were a business owner, on our website.
Yes.
And by doing that, it allowed them to create this as a business expense. And so now their business can write this off as a tax, it's basically an expense to the business, lowers their tax liability. And now they have advertising. There are premier vendors, sure. Real estate agent, premier, financial advisor, premier chiropractor, whatever that is. And they're going to be marketed to our clientele. And as soon as I mentioned that part of it, that's when the ahas went off.
Oh, yeah.
And so we threw that in kind of last minute, like a couple days before, like, what if we did this? And I think Zach came up with that idea. And I think it was a great idea. And that is the reason why most of these people moved on.
Hey, I think it was a big selling point, like the tipping point. It pushed them over the edge type of thing.
Yeah.
Being in the back of the room, I knew what you were doing for the State of the Union, but I didn't know the details of everything, right? Like obviously the changes that you had gone through with Zach and the final outcomes of that package and stuff. And as a true testament to how well it went over, being in the back of the room, seeing the adoption of it across the room, the aha moments, and then the transparency from both sides. One of the clients raised their hands, was like, well, Tim, because at the same time, we fixed a lot of the changes. Mm-hmm. You mentioned that we're capping the membership. And so there was almost like a community conversation, right? There was nothing. Yeah, it was a community buy-in for sure. But the conversation was very open. You know what I mean? People challenged throughout the whole State of the Union. There was obviously, like I said, the changes and the price adjustments for some and stuff. But people asked those questions. You were transparent. You gave them logical, understandable reasons. And it all benefited the client. Like you said, for somebody to decide to spend $25,000 on a training membership, that could be a big, difficult thing to swallow. But at the same time, when you said, but in 4 months and 10 years, or excuse me, 4 years and 10 months, just the value of the training comes to full term.
Yep.
Everything else is massive value. And it goes to a lot of the ways that we've created, the opportunity to raise capital, whether it be a flash style Black Friday campaign like we're doing, anniversaries, whatever it may be, right? We don't have to dilute the value of the service or discount our services. There's so many different other products, profit centers, services within the gym that we can pad that stuff with and get the value up without having to, go in the hole or discount. And I think that was another major win for that. And because you line itemed it all out, it made so much sense for the person who has the ability to make that happen today, because they know they'll be here for longer, a hell of a lot longer than those 4 years.
Yeah, and I was having a conversation with Sean Seitz, one of our Iron Circle members, and I was telling him about this. And he has 5 clubs right now, and I was like, doesn't this make sense for you to capitalize for, to fund your next location? He's like, man, I have never thought of that. Now that I'm thinking about it, it makes a lot of sense. And the only reason it made sense to us as a gym, we knew our lifetime value of our client.
Yes.
We knew what a client's worth over time. And we definitely, even at 36 months, this is another year past that. And we were okay saying, okay, there's going to be 10 members that we may have to burn in this deal. But with $250,000, if we sell the last 3, you know what? I think we can replace 10 members really, really quickly. And so it's really no loss to us. It's a big gain. It's a win-win. We basically help pay for and offset some of the capital expenses that we put into this business. And it allows us to really not really go back in the hole, but like now that I'm thinking about how other gyms could do this would be an easy way for somebody to raise the capital to do a location too. Now, the kicker in this whole thing is longevity in the business, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think you could pull this off in year 1. Correct. I just don't. I think you could start to pull this off in year 3, 4. If you've got a healthy business, you've got those long-term clients and they see the long-term path of your gym. Because I remember in the early days when I first opened, the people signing up were like, how do I know you're going to be here next month? And I'm like,
and that's exactly.
And I was like, you don't.
Well,
you don't know.
And to that, I mean, if you want to, if you're going to do this, there are a couple things to consider. Obviously, $25,000 might not be appropriate for you and your demographic, where you live, the value of your training and your memberships and things like that. That has to be a consideration. Maybe it's $10,000. Maybe it's $15,000. All of those are viable options for this, right? But you have to be very clear on your numbers, what you want to bring, to that program, so that it is something that you do have the opportunity to sell. Mm-hmm. And then the ability to do so, like if you, to the point of you've got 4 years and 10 months of training valued. If somebody hasn't been in your business as long as that, I can understand their resistance around that. So, if you've only been open 2-3 years, consider selling something that might be 2-3 years right now, because I think that people are going to have the hard time. Like, do you have enough buy-in from those people yet? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? For them to commit to 5 more years. Or does your business still feel like we're getting off the ground and people kind of know that and feel that? So it's a dance. I think that you have to kind of understand where your business is, where your clientele is. Tim wouldn't have been able to do that if he didn't have that buy-in. Guys, he probably had 70%, 60% of probably 60% of the clients actually show up on a Thursday night not knowing what you're announcing, not knowing what was going to be said. They went out of their way to be here for an announcement at their gym. Would 60% of the people just show up because you had something to say? Good point, and I think that's huge, because that they knew the value of what was going to be said in that room. They wanted to be there because they knew that there was something big. Yeah, and it wasn't a matter of
teasing it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Changes. And that's part of the thing is, we marketed that just like we would market anything else. Like, you can't just expect, because you've got something to say, for people to show up and be excited about it. Mm-hmm. And to the credit of the work that went into the event, just getting heads there, to the way that things were put together. Like, it is a multiple layered, process, strategy to make that happen. But if you do it right, you can absolutely change the game, change the direction. You could probably jumpstart that next location or business in a way that, to me, is, it's going back to what we do every day. You don't have to reinvent or create or go do something that you haven't done before. You just have to get really interesting in the way that you present it.
Yeah, and it's just another way of financing without going into debt. Yeah. Right? Technically you're in debt to these clients, but honestly, after 4 years, if you're going to be if this is your career, you would hope that you're going to be here longer than 4 years, 5 years. So I'm stoked on it. I'm pumped. And a lot of people had to kind of watch the video again and kind of understand it a little bit more. And they started coming out of the woodwork. And so, now we kind of stalled at these 7. I think we're just having one-on-one conversations with people that we think are a good fit. And we'll get the next 3. We have till January to do it, but it's different. It's something I haven't heard anybody talk about in this industry. I figured we'd share it with you as the listener of the Built to Grow podcast and maybe get your wheels turning. How could you pull this off? And like to Randy's point, it may not be appropriate at 25. It may be a 10 or a 15K, or maybe even it might be a 30K. I don't know.
Sure, absolutely.
Points. I know a guy when we worked in the agency side in New York, his memberships were $25,000 a year. So he might be a 100K guy. He could probably pull that off in Manhattan. So again, it's appropriate to your area. It's appropriate to your tenure in the business and how long you've been around and what your long-term plans are. And the kicker, I think, going back to the State of the Union, was selling the vision of the future. And so we call that future pacing, what it's going to look like. We had renderings. We talked about the equipment. We talked about our software that we were rolling out. And so there was a lot of buzz going on in that room. And then when we dropped this, for those of you that follow the perfect webinar formula, I did the value stack. If this was all we offered you, would it be worth it? And all this stuff. So you have to practice. This isn't something you just lob out there and do it on a Zoom or something. So to your point, there's a strategy around it. We marketed it. We had big news coming soon, and we had like the kind of foreshadowing of what it was going to be like, and they all came, and they were, we fed them, we gave them wine and beers, and it was a thing. So something to think about if you're in that kind of mode in your business. If you've been in business, I would say 3-5 years or longer, this might be a good play for you. So hopefully that helps. Maybe get the wheels turning for you. Maybe shines a light on, hey, maybe we could do this. We could do this next location, just funding it internally. So hopefully that helps you guys. Until next episode, keep changing lives. We'll see you on the next show. Bye.
All right, and thank you for listening to that episode of the Built to Grow podcast, where we help gym owners win. Now, do you want to connect with me and other gym owners online? All you need to do is join our private Facebook group, Business Talk with Fitness Professionals. Just head on over to Facebook and type in Business Talk with Fitness Professionals. And when you do, we're going to give you our 10 marketing strategies 7-figure gym owners use to win. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Until then, keep building something great.